right, Resurrect. Welcome to the Underground Society podcast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you, Justin.
Of course, man. So I'm going to let you, I don't do this every interview, but I think there's a lot to unpack about your project, so I'll kind of let you get started. Give us a little elevator pitch. If someone was meeting you for the first time, how would you explain what you do?
First off, I would say I express myself through music. I'm a very expressive person in general, if you get to know me personally. But I really enjoy making, music that can actually... I know I make like crazy music, right? Crazy drops and stuff. But deep down in my heart, I love creating like melodic work, Recently, my latest work has a melodic intro, cinematic stuff going into like darker drops, So relating to my first release with Subsidia was Heart, like that was something that I really put my focus on, and it made me like give you like that insight of like a best of both worlds, like melodic, beautiful, to like, okay, it's turning into dark. So that's what I like doing. That's what realized that my brand or my name really applies as Resurrect. Like a lot of people believe like resurrecting could be like, oh, evil zombies coming from the dead type of thing, but not necessarily.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people see it that way.
You're almost using it as like almost like a rebirth, like almost like a positive spin on what you're like a resurrection.
Correct. It could be either or, right? I mean, it could be dark, evil, but it also could be like, new light, bright, beautiful, like new life, stuff like that. So that's why I really like shows. I mean, I've figured out and I started to realize what my name was until like I started growing. I had like, I don't know, it just came out of nowhere. But subconsciously, I believe, I already had that in mind because I've been making music for so long. So I've always loved like melodic work, like Flume, Odessa, Louis Child. Like that. I love that style so much.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I want to make something that I want to listen to all the time, and I love working out, so like I want to listen to dubstep, and so I was like, okay, you know what? How about we just combine? We combine both of those, and I started doing that. So I started to realize, okay, like resurrecting is not always just like an evil, dark thing. It can be also like a beautiful light. So that kind of applies, and also another thing. Growing up, I went through like this like situation that kind of put me in a really dark spot, and I literally didn't have anyone to get out of that. Respect to my family, but I feel like I didn't have my family or friends or anything like that. So I got out of that hole. I would call it a dark hole because I was such in a deep space, empty, dark space, right? And I just got out of that, and it kind of like, I was reborn. I was chose to live a new life, and I resurrected.
Awesome.
So like. It just started to like make sense.
Awesome.
I started
so it definitely
growing.
applies to your brand. Yeah.
Exactly. So like a lot of people are like, oh, why resurrect? Like like it just has deeper meaning into my name. I really do believe that. It's not just because it's cool. Let me just put RZRKT together. I have a deeper meaning to it that I've never ever explained to anyone until like that. The Excision competition, like that's when I like that was a perfect spot to just this is who I am,
That's awesome.
And,
we'll get into more of that. And I kind of did want to talk a little bit about the Bass Music Initiative and the fact that you were like one of the first people that like were awarded that. But take me back to like where are you originally from? Because obviously you have an accent. Okay. Where does that come from? Where are you born and raised?
So I am born and raised from Laredo, Texas. It's a border city in Texas, on the southern side of it. So I am Hispanic. My parents are my dad was born in Mexico, was raised in Mexico. He came to the United States. My mom was born in the United States, but was raised in Mexico. So my first language was Spanish, and I talk to them all the time in Spanish.
Got it.
But majority, I speak English. I forget some Spanish words sometimes. But yeah, so that's where I come from. Been living here all my life. I'm 23 years old. I've been
what the heck? You seem like you're way older than that.
Yeah, no. Oh, thank you. Well, good way, because I'm like, okay, I look older, but I'm young. I'm young, and I feel it. I'm feeling I'm getting older. So yeah, I'm 23 though.
Have you always had your eyes on becoming a musician? Is music been like the forefront of like what your whole life has been, or were you kind of focused on other stuff like coming out of high school and stuff?
Yeah, so I've been making music since I was about 12 years old, 11 years old when I was like in 6th grade. I learned like how to DJ. I learned how to DJ, and then I started to see a lot. I started to hear a lot of music, like Afrojack, Sidney Samson, Tiesto. So back then, Diaro was named Tonic, like a long time ago. And then he had to change his name to Diaro.
Yep.
Yeah. So he changed his name, and I was like, I really want to make this. Like these sounds are so cool, you know. So I started with that, like experimenting with that, like Big Room. I think that's when like Martin Garrix was still growing and stuff too. So I've been making music all my life. I was like, you know, I want to play at a big stage one day. Like that's the dream come true. And so I went into high school, got into sports, kind of got distracted out of music. And then I went through like this situation, and I was like, okay, like I got out of sports, and I was like, okay, what am I going to be doing? So I was like, you know what, like I think music, like that was something that I really loved doing, even though I wasn't the best, but I still just knew how to express myself through music. So that's how I basically just started getting closer and closer and closer. Experimented with so many genres, like so many before I even came across. I was already into dubstep, you know, Skrillex during that time, Excision, Downlink, all these artists were like blowing up. Figure, I remember Figure too. So, but I just couldn't.
Oh yeah, OG.
Yeah, OG for sure. I had issues trying to like make that, you know, like so I was still experimenting, figuring out what I wanted to do, and then after high school ended, I went into college, and that took some time as well. I just graduated this past December with my bachelor's degree too. So.
Congrats, dude.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So I was focusing on that, and like I just thought that was my excuse to say like, oh, I really want to make it, but I have school, you know, like I have homework, I have this. So like I subconsciously I was like kind of putting myself down until I was like my last semester. I was like, okay, you know, like I mean even then I had released Hard, I had released like other songs, but. Because that's when I discovered like how to make dubstep and everything like that. But I kept telling myself that I really want this, but I wasn't putting the work and time into it. I was coming up with excuses, and my excuse with school is like, okay, I'm in my last semester. Like, what am I gonna do after that? You know, like, am I gonna apply for a full-time like career job? You know, or you know, like, what do I really want to do? So that's when I.
What did you go to school for?
So I have a bachelor's in communications and a minor in marketing.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, like communications would be like kind of like media, you know, like billboard, advertisements, stuff like that, all these things. Also communicate with like media and everything like that.
Which helps now with your music project, right?
It does, yeah. It does help a lot. I learned how to edit videos, photography, broadcasting, all these things. Like I know how to like what is it called? Like creating live event like shows and stuff, programming lights and stuff. So like, you know, like like it's what I like to do. If I didn't continue music, I'd probably like apply to like become one of those like what is it called, event organizers or something like that. So that'd be sick. Yeah, like promoter, something like that. That'd be sick.
You keep saying that you went through this dark time. I'm just curious, like if you want to go into that, what was that situation?
So I keep that very personal, but it was something that I had to relate with, like, it was something that I had to relate with, like, somebody important in my life that wasn't my family, and it became, like, something that got in between, and it kind of, like, I wasn't hurt at all from both sides. I was basically put aside. My feelings and my emotions were put aside, and I literally had nobody. I had no friends. I had no one to, like, talk to. So I was like, okay, you know, like I was literally in my classes, just like in a dark space. I would come home, sit down on the couch, and like look into the darkness. Like it was crazy. It was that bad. And if I'm honest with you, like I'm not gonna go into the word or the subject, but they were just really bad thoughts. And I was like, okay, you know, like
Right.
that's not, I don't want to do that, you know, like I feel like I need to get out of it. You know, I went through months of like trying to like find ways to get out, and the only thing that really, really made me feel alive was my music, you know. That was like the only thing that really made me feel connected with something.
From that experience, is that where like a lot of your inspiration stuff comes for, like especially your melodic stuff?
Yes. So I love the way that emotion like it's just like, you know, not everyone will understand it, but like most of the people that are like emotional or something like that, when they hear my music, they're gonna be like, like I don't know if I can cuss here, but like they're gonna be like, oh crap, like this has a lot of like emotion, like I feel it, you know, like I feel like the power that this has. And also like my dubstep, like I feel like someone told me like it's not, because I've had this question so many times from so many fans, like, who hurt you to make this? You know, like it's not really who hurt me. It's like it's not who hurt me. It's the power that I have in me that I want to put into the music. You know, like I want to like make this song so powerful that gives you power. You know, like you're like at the gym or you're like driving, you're just like getting this like, oh, you know, like energy. So, but then the melodic is more like the emotion to just take you to a whole different like place or a whole different universe, you know.
Pretty much know your career, basically, like I said, from Heart on. I've been following you and your work.
Okay.
What I kind of want to talk about Heart, 'cause I know, was that kind of like your first like kind of big song? I think that was kind of your biggest song. You've done other stuff since then, but that's really what put you on the map originally. It was your first Subsidia release. What kind of went into that song, and how did you get the opportunity to release it on Subsidia?
I think it was during the time where like melodic and dubstep was becoming like Island, Seven Lines was doing it a lot and stuff like that. So I was like, I love this so much. Even Excision was doing that. So I was like, okay, I want to do that, because back then I used to make a lot of future bass, but I never released it, right? So I was like, okay, like I know how to do these chords and melodic stuff. So I made it. Oh, I think I made the intro first. And it just sounded so powerful. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do like this switch up of like going into like this beautiful intro to just like, you know, like, and like the vocals, I found them on Splice, and I was like, okay, like this just fits perfectly. You know, I can feel it in my heart, and like, you know, you can use it either way. You can make like this beautiful song, but then you're like, oh, like I'm heartbroken or something. You know, like it's just like a good twist. So so funny story. I had released that song in March. It was my birthday, I believe, and like birthday week or birthday like that. And I released it, and I sent it to Excision through email, and I was like, "Hey, new music and stuff like that." And then he emailed me back, saying, "Hey, so we really like this song. We're having this really big like compilation or project coming out at the like close to the end of the year. Like would you mind releasing it here or in the project?" And I was like, yeah, I mean, I already released it, but like, would it be cool if I take it down and like you guys release it there? And be like, it's up to you. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. You know, like, so.
No shit, I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
And I looked like, no shit. So I took it down, and it was released in Subsidia again. You know, like re-released in a way, but like not a lot of people knew me who I was back then. So like, it's not like, I've heard that song before. It was like a brand new song to a lot of people. You know. That's
awesome. Yeah, you seem to. I mean, he's playing a shit ton of your music now. It's like almost 50% of the time I see something Excision, it's like, oh, RZRKT song, oh, RZRKT song. So it's been super cool seeing you where you've gone from when you released that on his label to like him and, you know, supporting your music now. After you released that song, you also you mentioned earlier too, you were one of the first, I don't know how many actually won this, but the initiative program. How did that kind of come about? Because did you only just have that one song signed with Subsidia before that kind of came to fruition?
Yes, that's my first song, and I'm releasing a new song this Wednesday, and it's after 2 years, so it's my second song with Subsidia.
Oh, that brand new, yep.
Yeah, so that was my first song. Crazy story. So it was around August, September. I told myself like, okay, I need to release like this like mix series. That's when I started the Afterlife 2. They made sense, like resurrecting.
Oh yeah.
So wait, did I say Afterlife 2? It's just the Afterlife one. Sorry. So I was like, okay, like I want to do this, but I want to have like a lot of IDs and stuff like that. So I started like making like whips and stuff like that. And I made this song called Power. It's not out yet. And I sent it to Excision. It wasn't done. I only had like an intro, build up, and a drop, and I sent it to him. And he played it at EDC Las Vegas, which was like around, I'm not sure, it was October. You know how like COVID hit and they were postponing it?
No, the last one.
Yeah, they were postponing it. So like, so he played it there, and I was like freaking out. I was like, oh, that's my. Well, actually, look, let's go back a little bit. He had played my collab with Louis J before. It was Evolve. He played it before, but personally, and like he's probably gonna hear this, right? But personally, I didn't see it as a like, oh, he played one of my songs. Like, of course, he played our song, but I didn't see it like my song. I don't know. Like, it was just a collab. So I was like, okay, I want him to play like an original song of mine, right? So this was like a year and a half later, because it was in 2020 before COVID hit when I saw it, and then like till 2021, I made all these songs and I sent him like a folder, and he replied with like, oh, this is sick, man. But just you know, like next time, like these are fire, you know, like, but next time can you like please send me like complete songs? And I was like, oh, for sure, like thank you, you know. Yet he still played Power that on EDC Las Vegas. I was like, oh my god, he has my support, you know. And I went on this like crazy mindset where I was like finishing a song per week or two, maybe, like crazy. And
holy shit.
Yeah, and I finished all these songs that he's been playing like he played. So by January or by December, early January, the first week of January, I sent him a folder of like 8 songs, which was Power, Disrupt, Atom, Madness, Dominance, Shades, my collab with Anti-Hero, and I don't know, some other song, right? And he played on his first show, which was the Coliseum. He played on that weekend. He played 7 of them. So I was like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. So I just kept going. And I kept like producing and making all these songs, and I sent him another set. And then by Paradise Blue, he played like 12 to 13 songs or 14 maybe, I don't know, of mine during that whole weekend. Yeah, so
that's dope.
Yeah, and I keep making so many songs that I keep sending him so many songs. But I mean, I like, it's just crazy how in this short amount of time span everything just like started to like unfold. And and as far as like going back to the Excision Bass Initiative, I guess I sent him so many music that like he was just like, okay, this guy's like putting in the work or something. I don't know. Like, I just never, in my opinion, I've never seen him play that many songs from. It's very few artists that he plays like that many songs in a weekend or something.
I've never seen him support an artist like he has with you.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing something right then, right? And I kept doing it. Like I have so many like tracks right now that it's the most I've ever had in my life, and it's the most I've ever had it combined. You know, like everything. So it's just crazy, like how I was like, you know, like my mindset was like, I really want this and I'm gonna make it happen. Like it's just, you know, like the going back to like the confidence and being humble, because I know I'm not like, I'm not talking like shit. I'm not making anyone feel bad about their music. I'm not trying to make myself look higher than anyone at all. But I know my worth. I know, like, I know what I'm doing is a movement in a way. Like, I'm creating something for myself and for someone to just get inspired by, you know. And I have a lot of people, a lot of producers reaching out, like, man, like, your work just sounds so different. I can hear when it's a RZRKT song. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. But I'm not over here, like, trying to, like...
That's what you want,
Yeah. I'm not trying to belittle anyone at all, because everyone has their own creativity, everyone has their own art, everyone is talented in their own way, of course, you know, and everyone's going to make it somehow. And I believe in everyone. That's the thing, you know.
I thought there was a application process for that, but because of you just explained that he was because he was supporting your music so much and that he saw that you were like on your purpose, on your grind. What was like when they approached you with that? like, what did that feel like? Because I mean, that's like, how much did they actually award you with? Like 10 grand or something like that?
Yes, and software and hardware and stuff like that. So it's an application. You apply, you answer some questions, and that's it. It's not a
Okay.
it's not a voting process. None of that. It's not. I said competition, but like I guess everyone saw it like that. But it's not really a competition. It was just literally just an application you submit and everything like that. I was like, okay, like a lot of people are gonna apply. Like it's crazy. So. So it was the last day, and I'm probably gonna have so much hate over this, but it was the last day, and I was at the gym, and I was like, wait a minute, today's the last day. Like, why have I waited till the last minute? Like, why did I wait that long? I think I was trying to find some time, but I was working a lot and all these things. I was trying to find some time to write everything down, like on a Word document and stuff, like. But I was like, okay, no, this is the last day. I know I'm going to be busy later today. I'm like, I have to do it right now. So I was at the gym, like I was in the locker room, just like writing everything, like explaining everything, what it was me, like being my true self. And okay, like I forgot about it. I was like, okay, like people were finding out. Well, I didn't even know. No one, it was like anonymous, like not anonymous, but like they told us not to tell anyone. So I didn't even know when they were going to tell me. But I think it was like 2 weeks later, and I literally just got an email, and I was I was gonna work that day, and my manager told me like, hey, you want to take the day off? I was like, I guess you're telling me to stay home, right? So yeah, why not? So I was in my studio, just working on something like that, and then I just got an email, congratulations, and I was like, wait a minute, like is this real? Like, is this not really like a hacking thing? Is like they're not gonna hack me, but like like their email is very particular. So I was like, no way. And I was literally like for like a whole hour, I was just in shock. I was like, how am I gonna do this? Like not how am I gonna do this? Like this is just too much to process. Like I can't believe that I just won, and I was just freaking out. But that kind of like really like. Other than him supporting all these songs, but it kind of gave me also like this like, hey, like you gotta keep doing what you're doing, like just keep doing what you're doing, like you're doing something good. But yeah, so I couldn't like really, I don't know, I just couldn't understand like what was going on in the moment. It took me like a couple of maybe days to process like, okay, this really happened, I just didn't expect that. That was just because, especially how I was like, oh, like I'm applying here at the gym. Like I don't know, like I know a lot of people like took their time for that, but I took my time too. Like I was probably there for like another hour and a half writing everything down, like just sitting down. Probably a lot of people saw me like this guy's still here, like just typing. Like what is he doing? But yeah, I think I was just focused in that moment. I was like, okay, I need to do this now. Like, and it was just wild. It was mind-blowing to me, really.
Do they require you to use it for like schooling and stuff, or do they just kind of let you do whatever you want with like the money?
Not schooling, but they did require like kind of like a form to like see how you're gonna be spending it. I haven't spent much of it because I've been like trying to save it, but I'm probably gonna like expose it right now, but I'm gonna start my merch pretty soon. So that's it's
sweet.
Yeah, that's how, like, it's just like really more like how you're gonna help yourself, like music wise, like assets and stuff like that, and merch is one of the assets. So like so or also hardware,
just use it to start like building out your project to get it to a more professional level, basically is what it's for.
Correct. Yeah. I've been also investing in visuals and stuff for upcoming shows and everything like that too.
That's awesome. Besides Subsidia and working, we've talked a lot about Excision and stuff like that. What other labels have you released on? Other than I know it's been a couple other ones, right?
Yeah. So I released it a long time ago on Hybrid Trap. That was a long time ago, and then Space Yacht. Those are the only two labels that I've released.
Oh yeah, love Space Yacht. They've been on the show as well. Yeah.
The reason why I released there was because Nazar did like this big bass thing, curative playlist. Yep. So Louis J had in contact with him, and he sent him some music, and then he liked our collab that we had called Unknown, and he was like, "Oh, we should release it there." I was like, "Okay, cool. Like that's cool." So yeah, that's how it just turned out.
Because you've only released and worked with like Subsidia, is there a game plan of like? Do you prefer to self-release some stuff, or are you just like not? have you not gotten as many opportunities as some other people? Like, was there a game plan behind like self-releasing a lot of your stuff?
So yeah, my game plan, it's just the way I think when it comes to self-releasing. I get organic followers there, you know.
Yeah.
People repost my song, and you know, you have to click the profile to go in, and then they follow me, and they're like, oh wow, and they start going through my profile, they start hearing one song, the other song, and then that's what I really want. I want organic followers. I want people to like, you know, like really know my name and stuff like that. That's the way I think. You know, Subsidia, like Excision has always been inspiration. So like, you know, I send him music all the time. I send out music too, but like, you know, like Never Say Die just doesn't exist anymore. Disciple, yeah, like, you know, like there's just, you know, like it's just my dream label before was to release that Never Say Die, but you know, it's gone now. So like it's I can't really do much about that. But yeah, but overall, I think like self-releasing helps me like just get organic followers, like have people like go to my profile. You know, that's my game plan. I just thought of that. I mean, it's easier too. You know, you don't have to wait till like no, that's smart. To like maybe like we're releasing in 2 months. I'm like, you know what? I want to release it like in 2 weeks. Okay, most of my releases sometimes like I just finished. When I didn't finish the song, but I'm like, okay, next week, you know, in 2 weeks I'll release the song, and then I upload it like 3 days before.
No, that's smart. I know a lot of people have different approaches, and it seemed like that kind of was your game plan. And it's smart to get. It's a good way to gain organic followers is just by self-releasing your stuff. So I think that's smart. And everyone, like I said, everyone has a different game plan. So
for sure,
I was just curious to see what yours specifically was. Do you have other goals to like? What other labels have you looked at and pitched to?
If I'm honest with you, I really haven't looked into other labels. I was looking into Bass Weight, but that was when I was like maybe like around January. But then I realized like they weren't releasing much, so I was like, okay, like maybe I shouldn't reach out to them. But I really haven't looked into other labels, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, is your game plan still to just continue self-releasing and keep growing your project organically for yourself?
Yeah. Most of it would be self-release with Subsidia too. Like, you know, I mean, Excision has been playing like my music a lot, so like, I guess the least I could do just give them like a couple of my songs, you know.
Do you think the fact that you have been, you know, selective about, and you know, you mainly self-release, does that have anything to do with like how you feel like? I guess it's a little bit of a sensitive question, but does that have anything to do with like how you feel what your worth is as an artist?
Yeah, I guess. Like I see that most of my work sometimes doesn't even require promotion. I just promote it myself. I don't have like most of it. Well, yeah, majority of it doesn't have like repost chains. Sometimes it does, but I see that I'm getting good followers. I'm getting like following from big artists, likes, support. So it's kind of like, you know, these guys are finding me. You know, like. They're coming to my profile, so I feel like that confidence just helps a lot because it brings me a lot of confidence because it's like they're following me because of my natural work, not like, hey, this label put me on you, you know, like if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, to me it does, you know. So like it's
absolutely.
I'm going to your profile, I'm following you, like you know, like Twitter or Instagram. I saw your page and I followed you and I heard your music. I put 5 minutes of my time to listen to your music. That's what I care about the most.
Absolutely. How do you think you go about determining what your worth is? Because I don't know. Like for me, like I've even struggled with this in my own life, and even with this podcast project. It's like, how do you really determine? And I know everyone has a different way of going about it, but how do you personally determine what has taught you how to determine what your worth is as an artist?
So. Seeing these videos from Excision has helped a lot, right? That's not a no-brainer, but really like listening to your music and like I listen to my music anytime I have time to listen. At the gym, I'm always listening either to my music or my playlist, but like I don't listen like honestly it shocks a lot of people. I don't listen to dubstep at all. Like I don't really listen to like dubstep on my free time.
Dude, more a lot of people, a lot of like even Tasoki, Atelians, like I've actually picked them up and driven them to shows before, and I remember them being in my car, like they were listening to like 80s rock and like not even EDM. Like, I was like, it was kind of surprising because I one would think, who aren't artists, one would think that like, you know, you listen to other music and obviously you like that, you make this music because you like this music, and I'm sure everyone still likes the music, but it's a different playing field when you make that type of music. It's almost like your ears need a break and you need something like that you can just listen to and enjoy without having to think about like the creative like construction part of the music. You're not the only one that doesn't listen to dubstep who makes dubstep.
That's it's crazy. But I don't, and I feel like I hear my songs and I just get this energy of rush, you know, like it's, you know, and a lot of people reaching out like, yo, like your music has helped a lot, like, or like your music is sick, you know, all these things just help a lot. But really just the confidence I have, like I know, like having this mindset of like, I mean, I believe in a lot of manifesting. What you put in your mind is literally gonna have control over you. Like if you say like, "Hey, this song sucks," you know, it's gonna suck. You know, like if you say like, "This song is so good," it's gonna be a good song. You know, or like, "Hey, I can't like." So I have this like this thing that I tell a lot of people that are close to me, like, be careful what you tell yourself or what you say out loud through your mouth, because when you think of it, you hear it once, but once you say it, you hear it again through your ears, and then it just a never-ending cycle. So it goes like, so it goes to your thoughts, it goes out through your mouth, through your ears, and then your thoughts again, and it just goes through your mouth, and it just keeps going like that. So it's a never-ending cycle. So if you say like, I'm very careful with what I say out loud. I'm at like personal experience. I'm at the gym. I can't do a certain weight. I'm not like, oh, I'm weak. I'm never gonna say that. I'm like, whatever, you know, next time. Or okay, you know, lower down the weight, just do more reps, something like that. Like I try not to put myself in this bad mindset like, oh, I suck, because once I start saying that, once I doing that, I will believe it, and you will believe it, especially from yourself, because you're your worst critic. You know, you're always gonna be like, oh, I'm not the best producer. Well, yeah, you're not gonna be the best producer, but if you start saying like, I'm the best producer, I'm gonna run the game, like you're gonna get that. You're not gonna find a way to do it. So yeah, you know, like that's literally how that's how what I mean by like know my worth, but being humble, because I'm not putting it like out there like, hey, I'm gonna run the dubstep game. I would never do that. That's very like, yeah, that sounds so conceited, but I know in my head I'm like, you know, like I'm doing something to create a big movement for my future self, for the future genre, for everything.
We need people like you who are going to be having that confidence in themselves, because we want the industry to continue. And without people who really truly believe in themselves, this industry at some point, once the big guys are done, if there's no one else after them, then it could potentially be over. So we need guys like you to continue on the genre and the traditions of what we have.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you know, if you don't have the confidence in your own work, then I mean, why do you act like you're proud of it? You know, like just be proud of it. Know your worth. Know your stuff. You know, like I might not have the most like crazy sound design. I might not have the cleanest mix down. I might not have that, but it's good to me. I love it. You know, like that's my style. That's my sound. That's what I'm proud of, and I'm always gonna see it like that. Like I love playing my music. You know, I love listening to my music. Like that's something that you gotta like have that in your mind, you know.
Was there ever a time that you didn't feel like you like worked? Obviously, you're confident now, but was there a time when you first started that you weren't confident?
Oh yeah.
And like, how did you find the confidence and start developing the confidence?
So I'm really close with Louis J, especially Louis from the 2 group. They're my best friends. We literally live so close. We live like 10 minutes away. I remember going to see Excision in 2020 before COVID hit. That was his last show, and I told him, "Hey man, I don't think I'm gonna continue making music." While watching Excision, which was crazy.
Oh no.
Yeah, I told him that. He doesn't remember though, but I told him like, "Hey man, I don't think I'm gonna continue making music. I just feel like I just don't have it in me." That was in 2020, right? So yeah, like throughout the whole time, I kept thinking that, and it wasn't up till like 2021 where I was like, okay, you know, like I really like this. Like, well, not really like this. I just really like want this, but I have school, you know, like I'm busy and all these things. So I kept finding excuses for myself to like not put in the work. But it wasn't up till like September, August where like something clicked in my head that I was like, I need to get shit done. Like I am going to graduate.
Yeah.
I need this in my life. I need this like forever, right? Like so like that's what I want my future to be. Like I know it's going to take a while, but I'm patient about it, And then I started creating all these new music, experimenting with different sounds and stuff like that. And that helped a lot with my confidence, like just doing more of it. I started getting more confident, like practicing it. Like football stars, they practice every day to be the best athlete, quote unquote. And, like they get confident out of the field because like they've been practicing, right? So if you don't practice it, you're not going to have confidence when you perform or when you make a song, So the more I've been making music, like
I think it's also important to like learn how to enjoy the process too.
Of course, yeah. Like you gotta like be happy with, well, not be happy. It can get really annoying and frustrating when you're making music. It really can. But enjoy like the aftermath. Like, okay, I made this today. Like I'm proud of that. Like find anything to be proud of for sure, because even though you didn't make a song or you didn't make a whip or anything, like what did you do to grow? Like did you change up your profile? Did you started something, like did you edit a picture, something like that to just keep moving forward a step further, That's what makes my mind really confident, because there's days where like I don't touch my laptop at all and I'm just like like okay, I can't wait for tomorrow, I can't wait for Monday, or I can't wait for this day to like really get onto it.
Right.
But like today, usually I had off, I didn't do much, but I didn't really like touch music really. But I'm not letting that consume me, like, oh, I didn't do anything, I'm not productive, because I literally just finished like 3 songs in the past 2 weeks. Like I'm not like super drained.
Well, sometimes you need that rest too.
Of
like
course.
You should be allowed to take time off from it too.
Exactly, yeah. And I took this weekend off because I was busy, and I was like, Monday I'm gonna get something done, right? But I didn't. But I started like something like to grow. So I started my website and I started doing that. So like I'm
sweet.
I'm like confident in that. Like I started that, so I'm still moving forward. Like if you take a step, small little step, but it's still progress. So like that really brings confidence to me. Like that's how I started growing. Listening to books too. Yeah. I do that a lot when I'm on my way to the gym or anything like that. I listen.
What books do you like? I'm a huge book. Okay. I'm a bookworm too. What books do you like?
Okay. I listen to 2 books all the time. The first one is called The 4 Agreements, from I don't even know.
Oh yes, fire.
Yeah, and then the second one is called The Mastery of Love. Those 2 books are like, I mean, they're like quote unquote my Bible, like because I really like the way everything just is worded out.
Yeah.
And it just pushes me to keep moving forward. I might listen for like 20 minutes a day, different parts, and I find a sentence that just like stays in my head, like moving forward and just pushing myself.
I have another question, kind of the flip to what we've been talking about. Uh-huh. But now that you've gained traction, have you struggled at all with like staying humble about like where you are now? Because obviously like you've gotten the opportunity to play like Lost Lands and like you're on the Bass Canyon lineup now this year. Have you had a struggle at all, like because you were struggling with your confidence for so long and now that things are starting to happen, have you struggled at all with like staying humble about what is happening around you?
Not at all. Everyone, like, I think being humble would be like,
that's good.
Yeah, not at all. A lot of people message me throughout the day. I try to find time to reply to everyone, have an interpersonal connection with them. Like, hey, thank you so much. Hey, I heard this song. Good job. Feedback, all that stuff. I know a lot of people don't do that right now. A lot of artists, they get distraction and they're just like,
dude, yeah, there's people smaller than you that can't even DM people back.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love doing that. If someone says like, hey man, I'm going to Bass Canyon, like I'll see you there, I'm like, I'll see you there, man, I would love to meet you, or something like that. It says a lot, and I feel like creating that connection with everyone at the most I can has helped me, like, like we're all human, so like why am I gonna belittle somebody because I have this attention? Like, it doesn't matter what attention I have. We're human. You have a heart. You have feelings. You have emotions. You're going to go see me, dude. That means the world to me. Like, thank you. Like, you're putting an hour of your time to go see me is crazy. Like, there can be other artists playing at that same time, and you could be over there, but you're going to go see me at my set. Like, that's thank you so much. I need to meet you, or I need to see you, or I need to whatever. Like all that stuff. So, not at all. I've always been a wholehearted person that gives and doesn't expect any expectations from anyone else. So that natural instinct of myself has just helped me with all of this energy coming in, all these things. Like, I accept it, and I'm like, I deserve this, but I'm always going to treat everyone with respect and like as a human. That's the way it should be. Well, my opinion. That's my opinion, of course.
What would you say to people who, or have you ever said anything to someone who you see hasn't remained humble as they start to gain traction?
What would I say, or what have I said?
No, what would you say, or have you said anything in the past?
It could go both ways, but
you don't have to like say names or anything.
No. I'm not gonna say any names at all. Like, not that I have said anything to anyone.
Yeah.
It's not that I have said anything to anyone, because I haven't at all, because it's none of my business, right? But like, if I were to say something, that can only go so far. That's all I gotta say. Yeah. That's gonna stop growth, really, because if you just isolate yourself and you act like someone bigger than anyone else, of course people are gonna see you like oh, he's famous, but then that's gonna be like, okay, your growth is gonna start to like look at Excision. Come on, like, that guy is like the most humble person ever, and like, that guy is not showing off anything, but he knows what's up, but that's a good example. And like, also like the famous billionaires like Bill Gates, all these people, they're not showing off. I mean, you can go to Google and find their net worth. That's it. But they're not over here like, hey, I have all this stuff.
Right.
And and that's it. Like, I feel like being humble and knowing, like, still being a human is important in this industry, because, like, most of it is all about expressing love here, So if you just don't do that, then there's so much love that you can get from other people.
Especially in our industry too. I feel like the EDM industry is really big on that, and really big on like just trying to help everyone. I mean, there's, like we just said, and I just said, there's plenty of people who sometimes get a little too big-headed and let their ego shine a little too much.
Yeah.
But for the most part, and thankful for, like you said, Excision for being at the level that he is, but then also still remaining humble and like not giving away, not bragging, not like his social media presence is just like, okay, this is happening, or this has happened, like this is what's going on in my life, but it hasn't been anything past that. He doesn't like brag about his accomplishments, and
of course,
he stays very like silent and does his own thing. So
exactly.
I think that's awesome that you're carrying on the tradition.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's hard, but that's me.
What would you, on either end of the spectrum, because we kind of talked about kind of both sides of the coin here, someone who is struggling knowing their worth and being confident, or on the flip side of that, being humble about where they're at in their career, what would you tell someone who is struggling knowing kind of where they're at and knowing their worth?
What would I tell them? We're all equal, really. I know some people are born or live in an area or place where you have like, you're, I guess we would say, privileged, but at the end of the day, like, we all have the equal opportunity to live, to wake up the next day, to do a change in your life, to get where you want to be. You can literally wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm going to change one small habit in my life to improve, and create a small habit. And you create that little habit, it becomes your natural daily routine. And then it goes from one habit to the other one. It just starts to trickle down. And you start to really just create this routine that just keeps pushing you forward and up and higher in the level where you want to be. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't have to be music related, but anything, like I every day I wake up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I go to the gym. I come to my studio. I make music for about 5, 6, 7 hours maybe. So like on last Wednesday, I did a 12-hour session. Like
Damn.
yeah, I do that because I really want that, and everyone has a equal opportunity. I know some don't. Some don't have 12 hours to make music, and I understand, but I'm still working. So I wake up at 6 a.m. every day, go to the gym, work to music till 4 p.m., and I get out at 12 a.m. So, and I do it all over again. So I only sleep like 4, 5, 6 hours.
Wow.
So like, I'm okay with that because my body is okay with it, and I'm just keep pushing it, like not in a pushing way like, oh, I can't handle this, but I do work, I do the same thing, but some people would just prefer staying in bed for 10 hours, and that's them, like that's good to them, but like I can't really do that because I feel like I need to keep pushing, I need to keep going because the opportunity is only going to be one opportunity,
Where do you work? Where's your day job?
I'll keep that as a little private. I mean, it's not really, but yeah, I'll keep that to myself.
Worries. Someday you'll be full-time music, so.
That's my goal. That's why I keep doing this. That's why I find ways to like also get some money out of my music, because that's what I want to do. I want that to be my full-time job. So, but yeah, so I do that a lot. I feel like everyone has the equal opportunity to just do a change so they can feel better about themselves and be like, hey, you know what? I woke up at 7 today, not at 10 a.m. And I actually went for a walk. I walked the dog. I cleaned my room. Little things that like make you feel good, that just release like neurotransmitters in your head, that you're just like, I feel good about myself, Little steps. You don't have to just change.
I read a book.
Yeah, exactly. I read a book. You don't have to change your whole life in one split second because your body's gonna quickly get in shock and be like, "What's going on?" Yeah. But small little habits really make a big difference in your life. Also, being positive to yourself. Like I said, like what you tell yourself really makes a big difference on how you view life. Because you can't be an angry person forever and expect peace. That's not gonna work.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's an awesome note to leave. We're kind of running out of time here, but I think that's an awesome note to leave this interview on. Sure. Thank you again for being on the show.
Appreciate it.
As we wrap up, what are you most looking forward to this year that's coming up?
Bass Canyon is about 3 weeks from now. Lost Lands. So my only goal was for the year was like, I really want to play at Lost Lands one day. And now I'm playing at both festivals, so it's just like, okay, this is mind blowing. I'm really excited for the other shows that are coming up. I'm excited.
Congrats.
Thank you. I'm excited to release the Afterlife too. Like that's gonna showcase all my work that I've been working for 8 months. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So it's gonna showcase a lot of my work that I haven't released. All these songs that like Excision's been playing, but no one has the high quality version of it. So like, yeah, it's gonna be coming out. It's gonna be coming out after Lost Lands because I'm gonna premiere it at Lost Lands. So I'm gonna record it and then just upload it to SoundCloud.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
I'll be at Lost Lands, so hopefully we can get a few minutes to catch up there.
Oh, for sure. I love that.
Couple last questions. Where can the listeners find you at, and where can they support you?
So you can find me on Instagram at RZRKT Music, Twitter as well, RZRKT Music, SoundCloud, Spotify. Just search up RZRKT, and that should be one of the first ones, or first one probably. Facebook, I'm on Facebook too. Awesome. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. I am also a human. You want to talk about anything? I'm open to talk about anything. I'm willing to help, give feedback. I also give lessons if you need that. Just spreading love here, That's it.
Final question. I ask this at the end of every single interview. If there's one piece of advice that you could tell yourself when you first started the RZRKT project, what would it be and why? Just
do you, and just do what makes you happy. Don't fall into that, like, I have to do this because of so-and-so. Just do what makes you happy, and that happiness is going to drive you to become confident, happy with all your work, and everything's just going to fall into place.
Thank you so much for your time today, man. I really appreciate you being on the show.
Appreciate you.